Hello and welcome back to Fantasy Premier League, the D-Unit's journey. I'm FPL D-Unit and today you are here for my team selection video for Game Week 23. Lots of things to get into, and look, I've had 2 free transfers at the start of the week. I have made those moves relatively early, as you would know if you've been watching my videos this week. I have moved out the underperforming Nicholas Jackson, who for me has just been a nightmare over the last 9 weeks with only 1 goal and 1 assist, and I've just lost all patience and he's had to go. There was a point where I owned him where I could have sold him for 8.1 million. Because he did get up to 8.3, and that was the moment where I probably should have sold him, where people started going. I just thought he was going to be better than what he was. And then obviously I've had to move to get Trent Alexander-Arnold into my team. So unfortunately, in order to make this happen, Jurriën Timber has copped it, even though I would recommend if you've got Arsenal assets, you probably hold him for this game week. So without further ado, let's get into final plugs. Please smash a like on the video. Please subscribe as well if you're new. The aim is to get to 500 subscribers, hopefully within the next couple of weeks. So please jump on board, get involved in the chat, leave some comments, because this week I also have, as per usual, lots of benching headaches, and I'm sure you guys are also going to have benching headaches as well. So let's have a look at final plugs for Game Week 23. So it is all about getting your team set up for double Game Week 24. Now, lots of people get excited about double game weeks. I'm not excited about the Everton double game week. I'm probably not going to bring in an Everton player. Like, I'm pretty 100% confident. I feel I'm not interested in any of their attackers. They're just wasteful finishes. I just can't envisage them coming in and outscoring either Chris Wood, Wissa, or Isaac in my team. I just can't see it over a game week. So for me, that's a no-go. And potentially they could keep a clean sheet against Leicester, but against Liverpool, they're definitely not keeping a clean sheet. So really, do you want a defender? And their midfield, there is no one in their midfield because Dwight McNeil's still injured that is anywhere remotely interest of me for them. But in terms of Liverpool, this is the week you need to bring them in. You want to get that Ipswich at home fixture, which is in Game Week 23. Then you want the double, so the Bournemouth and the Everton away games. And then you want them for the Wolves game, which is in Game Week 25. So the next 3 weeks, you probably want to be tripled up on Liverpool. No, you should not be playing your assistant manager chip. Yes, it becomes available next week. For me, it is definitely not a play. 100% if you've still got your triple captain, though, that is definitely on the agenda. And we're going to talk about captaincy a little bit later on because I've got some weird thoughts about it. I've just had some weird kind of inklings about potentially some rogue captaincy choices that probably aren't going to get talked about, but may be a really good option. So, and also involves someone that I've brought into my team this week. So in terms of defensive replacements this week, it is Trent Alexander-Arnold coming in at number 1. If you haven't got him in your team and you need a third Liverpool player, he's probably the pick behind Salah in terms of who you want. Next, it comes in Canade. Canade is definitely the next best option, 5.1 mil. The only query there is that he is only coming back from injury, so he could potentially be a little bit, he's a risk, but a minor risk, I would suggest. Munoz comes in at number 3. The Crystal Palace run is amazing. Gahey comes in at number 4. Again, the Crystal Palace run is amazing. If you really are desperate to go for an Everton player, Milenkovic comes in at number 5 as a dirt cheap option this week. In terms of midfield replacements, for the budget options this week, it has changed up. Rogers has that amazing next 3 games on his fixture ticker. So for me, he is pick number 1 this week in terms of buying a cheap midfielder. Ahmad still comes in at number 2. I just prefer the fixtures the next couple of weeks for Man United compared to Bournemouth, which is why Kluivert comes in at number 3, in front of Semenyo at number 4, only because of the fact that Kluivert is on penalties. So if they do get a penalty, he will be taking it. Number 5, it is now Alanga. He's dropped down. Nottingham Forest's fixtures from here do get a little bit harder, and then they get a lot harder. So he drops down, and then Sarr makes up the numbers there at number 6. In terms of expensive options, number 1, it's Son. The dude just scored twice in the Europa League for Tottenham. The only queries I've got is they've got a lot of injuries. Is he capable of playing this amount of games and playing him at a high level? They've got Leicester at home. He definitely looks like the pick this week. I mean, if I had an extra transfer, I would probably trade out Phil Foden for Son and take a punt. I have a feeling that Son's going to be really good. So if you want my honest advice, he is the number 1 pick this week. Number 2 is Mbeumo. Brentford's run and fixtures from here on in gets a lot better, and he just looks amazing on paper. He's on penalties, what's not like to there. Bruno comes in number 3 for that exact reason. He's on penalties still. He scored a great goal in the Europa League as well. And if Man United scored, generally Bruno's involved. So he comes in there. Maddison comes in at number 4. Now, lots of people probably querying. He did score in the Europa League overnight as well. And I did say earlier in the week that with the injuries Spurs have got, I think that he just starts games now. And if he's starting games, he's got some of the best attacking data in the game in terms of midfielders. So I really like him as a pick. Number 5, it's Eze. The Crystal Palace run is really good, but I think he just comes in behind those 4 options in front of him. And then number 6, if you really want to go there and point chase, it is Phil Foden. If you've got Phil Foden like I have, you're probably not moving him. In terms of forward replacements, this is going to be a little bit controversial. So Gakpo comes in at number 1. If you're after a third Liverpool attacker or third player and you want an attacker, it's Gakpo in the forward line. I wouldn't be going near Diaz, wouldn't be going near Nunes. Gakpo's the most nailed on. Number 2, it's actually Wissa. I think Wissa is an amazing option. That's why I've clumped for him in my team. I just really like him. Number 3 is Isak. Now, I know that Isak, and people are like, what? You've got Isak at number 3? Yes, I do, because after the Southampton game, it gets a lot harder, and I can see a few more blanks for Isak coming up. And I just prefer Wissa's run. I just think Wissa's got a way better fixture run. Mateta comes in at number 4. I'm still not sold on Mateta as an option. I just feel like they've played 3 easy weeks against teams that are rubbish, and the fixtures do get harder. I want to see him do it against the Brentford and Man United, and then I'll be like, okay, Mateta's in a hot run. Maybe I'll be 5 weeks too late, but hey, I think that potentially that's what I think. Wood comes in at number 5. Again, yeah, Woody the Woodpecker. I mean, like, the fixtures do get harder. The man is in such hot form, though, so you can't bet against him, really. It's safe to say you need Trent for the next 3 weeks. Can't believe I'm saying it, but for me, I will be holding him for the next 3 weeks. I bought him in for this run. I think there's going to be clean sheets. I think there's going to be attacking returns for him. And look, other than that, though, I don't think it's worth spending up any extra money in your defence. There's all the other options should be under 5 mil. Like, there is no need to be spending any more money in your defence other than outside of Trent, as far as I'm concerned, and maybe a goalkeeper, and that's it. Because, yeah, look, the lack of clean sheets is still there. Like, every week, it's an attacking friendly season. I wouldn't be sitting there, and I think it's better to spend your money in the forward 8 than it is to waste money in your defence. Look, I'll be trying to take that money straight out of Trent for a sub 5 mil, and I'll be looking to get rid of Ahmad probably and try and get him to Mbeumo somehow in game week 25, 26. That's the plan there. In terms of preparing for your FPL chips, obviously next week, the assistant manager chip does become available. I would hold off on playing it until like 31 to 33 or 36 to 38 or 35 to 37. I just don't think it's a good chip to play. And the only realistic person I would even bother playing it on would be David Moyes in the double game week. And I just don't see them beating Liverpool, or like, they'll probably beat Leicester, yes, but that's not a table bonus. And that's really what I'll be targeting with the chip. So for me, it's a no-go. There'll be better fixtures over the other double game weeks that are going to come up later in the season. So that's what I would say on that. And yeah, I think the best Liverpool players you can get. So Mo Salah's number 1. Trent Alexander-Arnold comes in at number 2. I think Alisson's actually the 3rd best pick. Then it's Gakpo at number 4. Then it's Canada at number 5. Then it's probably Diaz, and then Nunes, and then whoever else you want after that. Probably Szoboszlai comes in at number 8. I'm not sold on any of them. So that's why I've gone for Alisson, Trent, and Salah in my team. So look, you make up your mind. If you want to take on the double Liverpool attack, fantastic. I just think that the defence seems a lot more of a play. And I just prefer the fixtures, particularly this week in the Wolves game, where I think there's going to be clean sheets. That's just my personal opinion on that one. But you do want to get it done for this week to get that Ipswich fixture. Ipswich were rubbish against Man City. Man City look like gods against them. I think that Liverpool will make them pretty much the same sort of thing this week. Now, again, this is the time where you can make up bolt rank. As I said, I've gone up to 6,116 now, and we're going to get into my team very shortly. But this is the time to move up the rankings. If you get the moves right and you move on and you bring in players early, you can really soar up. Like Phil Foden has shot me up the rankings with his points over the last 5 weeks. It's been a massively good call. And that's why I think that Son potentially is a really good option here, particularly if you've got Foden. It's not actually that much more money to get into your team in order to get from Foden to Son. So it's definitely something to worth and keep in mind. In terms of Ahmad, Kluivert, Sarr, Rogers, Murphy, Alanga, can you rock 2 of them? I think you actually can now. Like, it's getting to a point where some of these budget midfielders are actually popping off more weeks than they're not. Kluivert in particular and Semenyo, they're just returning regularly, and so is Rogers. Like, those 2, I would be comfortable rocking 2 of them quite comfortably. Ahmad probably fits in that conversation as well. So look, that's what I'm thinking there. And yeah, let's check out how my team went last week. So 72 points last week. The captaincy decision bugged me because obviously I thought Cole Palmer and Nicholas Jackson were going to return massive points. It did take me up. I'm up to 6,116 now overall rank. That was up from 17,000, whatever it is. So a good 10,000 place rise, massively above the average this week. Made the one transfer, which was realistically Colwell didn't play, Milenkovic did. If I hadn't have made that transfer, I would have got Timber off the bench for 1 point. So it was a nothing move. Unfortunately, I did leave Kerkez on the bench, 7 points, but who could foresee that he was going to score? I was massively helped by, obviously, the massive presence that is Fpl Foden. Can he keep it up, though? That is the question. I'm not 100% sure. And look, Nicholas Jackson, this is why he had to go. I mean, we'll just quickly look at his stats here. The last few weeks have just been not good enough. So he was a simple move. From game week 13, the last 9 weeks, he's got 1 goal, 1 assist. Yes, the fixtures are not too bad, and Man City away is not the worst fixture in the world, and like you could make an argument for keeping him. And like, unfortunately, I think Jackson's one of those confidence players. When he's scoring, he will score in games consecutively. When he is not, he doesn't do anything. Like, he gets the chances, but he doesn't finish. So he was an easy move out, and then it was just a matter of sacrificing someone to bring in Trent. And unfortunately, during Timber, last 4 weeks for him have not been amazing either. Like, 1 point, 2 point, obviously missed the Brighton game because he was suspended, and then the Brentford game, 1 point. Just not ideal. I mean, I had him for the Ipswich game, which was good, nice. But the last 4 weeks have just been underwhelming. But again, if you've got Arsenal defenders, I wouldn't be moving them on the next 4 weeks. Wolves away, Leicester away, West Ham at home, 3 of the next 4. Easiest fixtures in the game outside of Southampton. I think there's clean sheets there for Arsenal, even with Saliba being injured. So I wouldn't be in a rush to move him. But if you are like me and you needed to get Trent in, it's 100% justifiable. So, yeah, those are my 2 moves this week. My team value, just out of curiosity. So, as you can see here, it has been 3 green arrows in a row now. So, from game week 19, when I went down to 53,000, which is disappointing, I have had 3 really good weeks in a row. So, I can't really complain. The last 2 weeks, I've been inside the top 260,000 teams for each of the weeks. Up to 107.8 team value now, which is just ridiculous. So let's have a look at how the team's looking this week. So we've got Alisson Becker at home in the double up with Trent Alexander-Arnold, who's in for Jurriën Timber. Yeah, I just really like this. Like, in terms of what I expect, like Trent, ideally, I'd like an 11 point straight off the bat, which would be nice. I think there's clean sheet. I don't like playing double Liverpool defence or double defence in general, but I think the next 3 weeks I'm quite happy with it. And I do expect quite a number of points from both of these players. Like, the fixtures on paper are brilliant. Liverpool played earlier in the week in terms of the Champions League. They should be fresh. Trent is fresh because he got rested for most of that game. So did Gakpo, FYI, if you are looking to buy there. So look, I just really like that. I think Alisson Becker and Trent is a great double up. The fixture is amazing at home as well. In terms of the other 2, Hall obviously has that amazing Southampton fixture, and this may well be the last week. In fact, actually the next 2 weeks will probably be the last 2 weeks he starts in my team for the next 5. Like, I don't really fancy starting him against Man City away, Liverpool away, and Nottingham Forest at home. I just think that that's not a play. I might even look to move him on, but it's a bit preposterous. But potentially that is something I could look at. I just think the next 3 weeks are going to be difficult for Hull, but I'm quite happy for him to be starting away at Southampton. At the moment, it is Milenkovic starting in my defence. Now, I need everyone to get involved in the comments. At the moment, I'm benching Robinson, who's got Man United at home, and Kerkez, who's ironically got Nottingham Forest at home. Now, the reason why I'm playing Milenkovic instead is because of the fact that last week he was super unlucky not to score a goal, and he does have really good attacking potential off corners. And I just feel like, I know Hodgson's in there with with Bournemouth. I just feel like there's more chance of a return from Milenkovic than the other 2. Let me know in the comments. Maybe I'm wrong and I'm just being Man United biased, and I shouldn't be. But that's where I'm leaning at the moment. At the moment, it is Milenkovic in goal. In terms of the midfield, it is a midfield 4 this week. Cole Palmer, starts away at Man City. Now, Man City conceded 4 goals to PSG after they went 2-0 up. This team does not keep clean sheets. I don't know why people are so intent on getting rid of Cole Palmer or even benching him this week. Not for me. He'll 100% be starting, and I can't wait for him to get a double-figure haul. He's probably going to get a goal, 3 bonus points, and he'll get 10 points. Thanks for coming. I would not be surprised in the slightest if that happened. I still can't believe people are selling him this week and his price dropped. Like, I don't know what's wrong with people. If you're sitting there selling him for Man City away, there's something wrong with you, because then he's got West Ham at home the week after. It just makes no sense. I don't understand why people are doing it. Bruno Fernandes starts now. He has scored. Obviously, he's actually the last 3 weeks in terms of the Premier League have actually been pretty good. He's assisted against Liverpool. He got 2 bonus against Southampton, and he got a goal against Brighton with 1 bonus. Now, he also scored in the Europa League with a fantastic finish overnight. So his confidence is up. I quite like having him in the team. He is on penalties, which is why he's in the team instead of Ahmad. Ahmad sits on the bench in the first sub position because of the fact that I just think that Bruno Fernandes is a better pick because of the penalty taking. In terms of Phil Foden, yes, the last 5 weeks have been amazing. The last 6 weeks have been amazing if you've owned him for the 6. But it does get a little bit harder, but I'm not expecting him to have any problems against the Chelsea team that concede goals. So this week, I think it is fine. Then it will be a reassess week-by-week basis with Phil Foden at the moment, but I'm quite happy to have him in the team. And look, if I can somehow nurse him through to game week 27, I'll be keeping him for the season. Like that's how it is, because City's run from there is just amazing. Mo Salah is tentatively the captain at the moment. He does make the most sense. He has the Ipswich at home fixture. Yes, he's blanked in the last 2 weeks, but the XG involvement has been there. He just has not delivered. But Ipswich at home, they conceded 6 against Man City. Man, this man could score a hat-trick against them quite simply. I just think it'd be madness to take him on in captaincy this week. In terms of the forward line, it is Wissa who's come in for Jackson. He has the Crystal Palace away fixture. I really like it. Like his numbers, expected goal involvement. I don't expect Palace to keep a clean sheet, and I expect Wissa to be involved in the goals if Brentford score him. So, like for me, he was an easy buy. I think he is the pick of the forwards. His underlying data is just better than Mateta's. It's better than Gapco's. It's better than anyone else, and at his price, it's such an easy transfer. I'm very excited. Isaac is going to be my vice captain this week against Southampton away. I mean, he didn't do much against Bournemouth, but hopefully that's the mare. They got it out of their system. Hopefully in the next 2 weeks we see the Isaac that everyone bought in. So look, I'm not concerned about that. He's an easy vice captain choice. If you wanted, you could take the risk and make him captain. Southampton do concede a lot of goals, and obviously Newcastle rested. They didn't play midweek, so that's something you can keep in mind. And then Chris the Woody Woodpecker does start instead of Ahmad. 43.1% ownership. I just don't think I can take that on when this man scores from ridiculous XG involvement. So look, he's scored 4 goals from like literally just over 1.5 XG the last 4 weeks. That's how good he is at finishing. It's insane. He's got a new 2-year deal behind him as well. He's a man in form. I don't think you can take him on. So for me, that's an easy thing. And then we have a look at the bench. And this week it will be Fabianski starting away at Aston Villa. Easy benching there. They're probably going to concede goals, I would think, West Ham. Ahmad, unlucky again to be on the bench, but he's a great option to have if someone does miss out. Kerkez, and this is why I'm saying the defence is a real benching headache this week. Kerkez and Robinson, I don't even know if I've got them on the right order on the bench. Let me know in the comments. Maybe it should be Robinson starting instead of Milenkovic, and Milenkovic should be the last sub. I really do not know. It is a tough call. Please get involved in the comments. Let me know if I'm right or wrong. I will be back tomorrow at 7:30 p.m. for a deadline stream after our Triple J Hottest 100 party here in WA. Join me for that. Don't snooze on that one. It will be, I think from memory, it's an 11:30 a.m. start in the UK. So 11:30 a.m. in the UK, 7:30 over here in Australia. I'll join you for the deadline stream then, and I'll probably put out a deadline decisions video as well in preparation for that, so people can have a look through once I've looked at the managers' press conferences. But hopefully you've got a bit out of my team selection. I'm hoping to get, with some luck, inside the top 5,000. That is the aim this week. And make sure you do press a like on the video and subscribe. Get us to 500 as quickly as possible. That'd be much appreciated. That has been my team selection and final plugs for Game Week 23. That's been the D Unit.